You want to talk about
Speaking
secondary
of,
market?
that's the last item on our list to talk about is secondary market.
Secondary market. How do you
Cha-ching.
feel, Ben? How do you feel about the secondary market?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how I feel.
This is Ben has alternate opinions from most people's
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, they really like honed in on all of my strong opinions. I don't have a ton of them in this game.
I get you worked up.
I don't like the secondary market. I think it's
love
dumb.
it.
I think it's the infinite argument. You have all your memes of like the people who complain, like
Smells like
the
broke.
price
Smells like broke.
smells like broke. But I think there's something to it. Like, you don't want to cater to the few hundred folks that are competitive, and you don't want your laptop to fall off either. You want to grow this game, and you got to grow a game from a large standpoint. And if let me finish.
I stopped.
Shut the hell up, Alex.
I stopped.
And if you want to grow the game, you got to grow it in all directions. You got to keep competitive players happy. You got to keep, the locals happy, the players who are playing the themed decks for fun. You got to keep those folks happy. So if you're making a draft box 4 and people are just getting stomped by exploiting weakness Vegeta all the time, that's not necessarily fun. So it's a balance. And I think Bandai is thoughtful about it. I mean, there's some missteps here and there, but I think they're trying. And so that's the least you could ask for is somebody to listen and try.
Yeah, the only 2 missteps I see them having are draft box 4.
Yep.
They should not have had a whole bunch of old garbage cards in there, and it should not have been $90. And it also should be available to purchase at stores right now.
Yeah,
So
at not $200
that's
a
the
box.
main point.
So that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. Is the misstep is draft box 4 because it was a limited
then-
print run
Yep.
and no one can get access to the cards. And now the cards are Vegeta's $90, $80.
I think it's at 75, but yeah, it
I'm just
was up
saying.
at 100.
I'm just saying it's crazy.
It's a $25 card. It's good.
I would say I would argue
But-
40, but yeah,
Okay, still
money bags over
half
here.
price
just
from
saying.
where it is.
I'm just saying draft box 4 is definitely a misstep for the short run of
Yeah.
everything.
Well, those cards are just so generically
Yeah.
good.
Busted.
They're just ridiculously
Busted.
good. And you see almost every single deck that's been topping just runs
Yep.
4 apes, 4 of each ape, 4 Vegeta, 4 Piccolo. It's if you don't have it, you're just not. And I think I keep seeing this on deck profiles on YouTube. They're like, well, I was running this at 2 or 3, but you know what? It's just the best 2-drop in the game. So why not just run it at 4?
Exactly.
It might
crazy.
clog every once in a while, but it's just busted.
It's
You're
too
like,
good.
Okay.
It's too good.
I
Cool.
was watching somebody's deck profile from Orlando, and I forgot. Maybe it was Robert Rizzi or someone. It was just I was going to run 2 exploiting weakness, but then I just decided to run 3 because it was so good. Or somebody convinced me to, and it's yeah, of course. Their good cards are good.
Yeah.
And there's the little downside to them, their 5K
Yeah.
combos.
Especially with the new surge leaders that either draw 3/4 of their deck every single game,
Yeah.
or they're able to discard cards you don't need early. So it doesn't really hurt you if you get the card you don't want early in the game.
I was going to say Surge Leader, negate your effects, exploiting weakness, wipe your board.
And
Cool,
you,
chill.
And you can just take those cards that you don't want on that turn and just put them under your leader and flip over. So it's absolutely insane. And all the super combos now, the green one especially, is just toss it in the warp. Who cares?
I think that the Bandai should have restricted some of those cards to maybe 2 copies per deck or et cetera. I come from Yu-Gi-Oh, so I come from a big extensive ban list, and I think that they should have
Too complicated.
hammered down on all that stuff. That would have helped the secondary market because all these people with 4 copies of a card would have been selling their extra 2, 3rd, and 4th copy, and it would have made the market better for everybody else. But whatever.
I mean, it's generically good too. That's one of the tougher things.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah, is
too
if
good.
you have to stay on theme at least a little bit, I think that helps broaden the pool of decks that you'll see at locals and at bigger competitions. But when you have all the best cards that aren't really restricted, I mean, it makes sense to pick. Here's the best leader. I'm going to take the Broly. I'm going to take Surge Coup. I'm going to take Piccolo. And I'm going to get all the best cards, and I'm going to make a deck out of those. And the only thing I need to worry about is ratios and tech for mirror matches.
I think at most it hurts locals, and that's
Yeah,
that's
I
the part
agree.
that hurts us a lot personally in our scene.
Because Alex keeps bringing his.
Hey, it isn't
broken-
just me. I mean,
It's basically if you own the draft box cards, you have a leg up.
You have a leg
on
up on
people.
everybody. You're getting
Absolutely.
getting
Yeah,
first
man.
or third place every week at locals just because you own draft box stuff.
They're that
because there's
strong.
only 4
And
players.
it's also I've had a couple friends, Phil was asking me oh, what are the meta decks right now? Maybe I'll get back in and just buy one meta deck. And I'm well, the meta deck right now, it's going to need 4 copies of this card that's $70, 4 copies of this card that's $50 each. And it's yeah, it's not in the long run, insane for card games, right? But
Yeah, in the long
at the
run.
same time, for trying to get someone into the game, and it's like if they want to be competitive at all, it's like you got to buy a $500 deck just to get in. It's like, I'm good.
I think it hurts because SRs in this game historically have been like $10. And then they're going from $10 to $70. I mean, no, I'm saying like Dropbox,
other way.
Vegeta.
Oh, yeah,
and stuff
they
like
were
that.
super affordable.
So I'm saying like the
right at
staples were
first.
like $10.
Yeah,
and now they're jumping to like $70 staples. And
remember when
it's a huge jump. It's not like an incremental jump. It's
I
a
wasn't
huge
really
jump.
sold on the Vegeta yet. I was like, oh, it's kind of niche. It's all right. And then it was at like $20, $25. I was like, I guess it's worth that much, but it won't go up. I won't pay. I'm not going to pay that. It'll be fine. And then it's just skyrocketed right after that.
Yeah, crazy.
It's rough.
That's crazy.
It is what it is. Spent more money on singles this month than
If
ever before, right?
My whole thing is if the game continues that trend of if you buy sealed product or something like that and your SRs hold value,
It's good.
it's really good, but continue to print product. Don't print
Yeah.
Draftbox 4 as a one print run. And now boxes are $120 to $130 each. I
Yep.
mean, it's not fair. It's not right. And I think the Bandai has learned from those and those kind of missteps. And I
or
think
just hold more draft events and give like you release the draft box and you hold one draft event for your local scene. It's like, well, why don't you sell them? Sell them in boxes of 8 or like 4, and so they can hold 4 events and run them once a month or something. Like that'd be pretty cool because then you could get those cards, but you're also just paying more for a local, and you're getting a cool experience each time. So that'd be pretty sweet.
like everyone knows, as I said so far, is that draft boxes felt amazing to draft.
Yeah,
the
it's
actual
super fun.
sealed event is amazing and it feels nice
Except
and
for that
everything.
stupid big giant piece of paper they made us fill out and didn't use.
Oh,
I was
the deck
pissed.
list.
I was pissed.
It took me so long. I took to the very last second filling it out. And then I looked at my sheet and I filled it out backwards.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, take this.
Yeah, it was very confusing. And then they didn't even use it for anything. This is dumb.
I had somebody call a deck check on me at that
'Cause
event.
you're a
at Nats.
cheater.
Yeah, that's what they said. The guy literally said, you're cheating. You couldn't have pulled that, blah, 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 and called the
And you
judge
said, I
on
got
me.
God tier pulls, guy.
Yeah, that's what I said,
Get
too.
it out of here, bro. I
had-
pulled 4 topos. Get out of my face.
Yeah, I didn't pull 4
Easy.
topos.
Easy.
But I pulled Barrier.
Pulled 5.
I pulled Barrier Frieza and Ape, whatever, the combo 2 Ape. So, and
yeah.
you thought I was cheating because I pulled
Because you
those
pulled 2 cards. Not even if you pulled like 2 or 3 apes, I'd be like, he's cheating.
Yeah, he's cheating.
Because that's not possible.
I literally pulled
But
those 2 cards.
If you pulled one of each, it's like you just got lucky with the packs.
At Nats, everybody passed green to me, so my deck was almost almost all mono green. So that was the funniest part of the whole event.
Let's talk buyouts real quick because that's what we're going to get to on secondary
buyouts?
market. Yeah,
I like buyouts.
yeah, I hate buyouts. I
love
them. That's my strongest opinion. Well, you gonna say something?
I was just going to say, I don't mind the buyouts when they happen because cards are going to get bought out just due to the way things work.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't like is when I order cards 3 days before the buyout
Oh, that's
and then they don't send me my goddamn cards.
yeah, that's a problem.
And then I bitch and moan at them in an email it over and over. And they say they don't have it. Mm-hmm. And then the moment they refund my money, I check back on their listings.
And there it
and
is.
the exact amount of cards that I bought is back up at triple the price.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Bro, if you're going to run a business and you charged my credit card, those cards are now mine. I own them. You don't get it's super shady, and I'm never buying from those people again.
Yeah, that's the
and
only
they're a
slimy.
very large dealer in this game. So sorry.
It's slimy. That part of the game is
drop
slimy, and I
some
can't
names.
stand it. So I'm just saying.
I don't like the buyouts. Like
One thing if it's on the same day,
Day
if
of.
it's day of and it's like whatever, but literally you took 4 days to send it out, and then we're like, oh, it's jumped. So
I think that people have 5
Stupid.
copies in hand, and then they list 10 copies, and then when it shoots up, they go, "Oh, I don't have the extra 5."
stupid.
and
I
refund.
guarantee that's not what they do. But
It literally takes you going, "I have this many copies,"
Yeah.
and click. I mean, I'm just saying,
I just think it's really scummy.
it is scummy, and I think you should just sell the product at what it went for.
You put it on your website at that price. I bought it at that price. You charged my credit card.
Done
it's
deal.
mine.
Done deal.
Yeah.
I'm talking about buyouts in terms of people buying out cards at like more than what they need, right? And so this is the United States. You have freedom to buy whatever you want.
You're saying treating them like buying a stock or something.
Exactly. And I will sometimes rant in our group chat about this being a little kid's stock
Yeah.
market where people are going to buy and they're going to overbuy and they're taking a risk because sometimes it doesn't hit. But I do think that limits accessibility when we're going back and talking about casual players
growing
at
the game.
locals. Like when it's going to cost you $50 to buy a playset when it was going to cost you $15 or $20. Like people aren't going to play anymore if they can't buy the cards. And so I think it happens pretty often. And, whether it's up to the stores that were selling it for a higher price to come down or for people to sell them at a reasonable price, I don't know what the answer is, but I do think it really limits folks. Because there's been times where I'd see something and just got bought out, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to play this now because I don't want to fork over $60 for a playset when it was just $20 like a day ago.
Yeah.
And so it's a tough conundrum.
It's also just like the history of this game's cards holding value is not good.
Historically, not good at all.
Yeah.
Oh, Jiren's from set 2 were like $30 at one point. That card hasn't been played in a single deck over the last like year and a half, and it's less than $1.
I would say it's $1, yeah.
Yeah.
If even it was 50 cents,
so it's like
$1.
They spike, you buy it, you feel shafted because they just come out with something stronger. But it seems like they're getting a little bit better about that now, where cards are kind of holding their power for a little bit longer or being more useful in newer decks.
I'll say card design is on another level at this point.
Yeah, it's getting way better.
And cards that are good right now should hold value because they're in that new design period for the game.
Yeah. It definitely still hurts for, like, we see a lot of players at our locals that they're like, yeah, I don't have those, and I'm not going to get those. So,
they're like, if it's not casual day at locals, they don't want to play, and that definitely hurts our scene. So, But I was going to say, as far as going back to Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm not going to lie. I used to look at things, and if there was 3 listings of a card, and the next card was at $10 more, I used to go on TCG Player or whatever, buy them out, and then sell the card for $10 more to somebody else. I'm not going to lie.
I respect that. I respect the transparency.
I'm just putting it out there. I used to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hustle.
I was essentially
Yu-Gi-Oh is also like a well-established game with like well-established
markets. It was
markets.
way different because there's way more demand for everything. So I was basically a backpack vendor in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I played a lot of events and everything.
You can't necessarily control the market as one person.
No.
Whereas in
some people
DBS,
can.
You really can.
Well, no, in Yu-Gi-Oh, definitely if there was one shop or one vendor with a lot of capital, you go through and you can spend X amount of money and control a market on a certain card.
I'm just saying it's really easy to do in this game.
Yeah, but it's way easier in DBS to do. So it takes way less money, but it definitely happens in Yu-Gi-Oh as well. I'm not gonna say all card games because I don't know Magic and etc. But it happens in both games.
But at the same time, like, if people would play a little more variety of deck and top with a wider variety of decks, you'd see more price spikes and better, balance in terms of prices. Because it seems to be the meta has been very consistent. Like the same cards, they just keep putting them in different decks.
Well, yeah,
like
when you have
apes.
Well, yeah,
anything in every single deck, the tops.
That's why I said
no matter the leader.
Draft box was a mistake because everything is hyper generic and it shouldn't be that generic. Yeah. And that's my whole entire issue with that set.
I mean, what I think a great move was the reboot leaders. And I think what they need to do is keep stimulating the old cards in terms of finding cards that have specific interactions. Like, let's say with that 4-drop Jiren that was busted back in its day.
The red one? You're talking about the red one, right?
Yeah. Okay. Find ways to bring those cards, or like the 6-drop hit that they're trying to bring back a little bit. And like find ways to like bring those cards back so then there's like retained value.
Yeah, I agree.
Both in the card that is coming out because you need that card, but also in the card that was out